A couple weeks ago, I talked about this video that kind of went viral, showing Ben Affleck and his ex-wife Jen Garner at their son's birthday party at a paintball park. And it was this moment that made everybody raise their eyebrow. You see how Ben Affleck very casually put his arm around her. She didn't even flinch. They acted for maybe 2.5 seconds like a loving couple, not like two co-parenting ex-husband and wife who've been divorced for many years. And in that video, I talked about the fact that it was very strange that this was happening. I couldn't rule out the possibility that maybe Ben and Jen Garner were getting back together. And I thought it was strange because as far as I knew, Jen not only had a boyfriend, but I think she was engaged to her man, John Miller. But I don't think I mentioned my wondering as to what JLo could have been thinking about when she saw this, because I was sure that she had seen it. Well, it didn't take long after that video came out for us to find out that JLo's people had seen it, that JLo herself had seen it, because shortly after we saw this, JLo's people started talking about her new movie that she's about to film. And in this new movie, apparently the guy that she's going to be co-starring with has a huge crush on her. And what was so interesting when I looked into this is that the article that went out talking about this was the exact same article, the exact same verbatim words that were published by several publications. The Daily Mail put out an article, Page 6 put out an article, TMZ put out an article, In Touch magazine put out an article, I think Yahoo News even put out an article, and they were all saying the same thing. There were parts that were verbatim. And it was very clear that this was a publicity blitz that JLo and her camp put out to try to make Ben jealous. Oh gosh, girl. But let's take a look. So the actor's name is... His name is Brett Goldstein. He is known for his role in Ted Lasso. And this is what he looks like. Okay, Mr. Goldstein. What do you guys think? These are some of the things that I saw that were written in the article, and this is how I know that it came directly from JLo. The Ted Lasso star called JLo sexy on his podcast in 2022 and has had a raging crush on her for years. The movie that they're filming is going to come out on Netflix, apparently. She has some kind of a multi-year deal with them. Brett's obvious adoration is a breath of fresh air. She's having fun on this movie with him, so it's no surprise they're hanging out. Friends could see this flourish into a proper romance. Sources tell us that they have a fizzing chemistry, which comes amid claims that her ex-husband Ben Affleck is back in the arms of his once ex-wife Jennifer Garner. After a very rough start of 2025, Jennifer can't wait to start a new project, and it certainly helps that she will be working with a very handsome and smart star like Brett. He is one hot ticket and a real class act with talent to back it up. He not only acts, but he writes amazing scripts. He's like the younger, better British version of Ben. She thinks he's very cute. It will be a reminder to Ben that she's still hot property in Hollywood. And how can that not make her feel great? She's 55 and is still a box office dynamo. This will just be another reminder. Oh, gosh. JLo girl. JLo. I've made a lot of videos talking about Jennifer Lopez, particularly her relationship with Ben Affleck, because I believe that it's emblematic of a lot of situations where a lot of women we find ourselves in. And I made a video specifically talking about this, about the mistake her and Taylor Swift made when they left relationships that were more stable to pursue the what if guy. I think that's a really good video. More of you should watch it. Go and watch it after this. But basically, it was this thing about how we tend to romanticize the one that got away. Usually the one that got away didn't last long enough for you to really get to experience all the colors and the grays and the blues and the reds and the yellows, all the colors that make up a person, the good, the bad, the ugly, the parts where we are really, really, really incompatible. And both JLo and Taylor Swift, when their previous relationship ended, both relationships, Joe Alwyn for Taylor and Alex Rodriguez for JLo, I believe that these were the one true loves that made sense for both of these women. The dynamics, the way they related to each other, the way they had so much in common, the way their lives looked like they fit in perfectly like a perfect glove. And whether it was because they got bored or things got hard, they got difficult, they walked away from those relationships and they pursued the one guy that they couldn't get over because when they were with him, it ended way too soon. And in the case of Taylor, I talked about Matty Healy, who was this rocker guy that she had been in an on and off relationship for more than 10 years. And most of us didn't even know it. And that's why the album Tortured Poets is so filled with stories. Everybody thought that album was going to be about Joe Alwyn, and I actually believe that it was originally slated to be about Joe Alwyn. I made another video about that. And she pretended that it was about Matty Healy. But in a way it was, because the songs in that album were about the longing, I can't believe I had this image in my mind of who you were. But turns out that that's not who you were at all. How could she have known him when the moments between them were so fleeting? The relationship, it happened in spurts, really. Same thing with JLo and Ben. Her and Ben, between meeting in the set of Geely in 2002, I believe, and the end of the relationship, when they broke off their engagement, they kind of got back together and then they broke it off. The whole thing just lasted maybe 2 years. And most of those 2 years were spent planning a wedding, not really cementing your feet into what the relationship was in itself, but in the fantasy of what it was going to evolve into. And when you have a relationship that it doesn't really last that long, but the little bit of time that it lasted, you spent it planning for the future, imagining what it could be, the potential of how much greater it could be, you tend to, after it ends and you go your separate ways, you tend to aggrandize that relationship in your head. It really becomes more than what it really was, because the memories that you have in your head thinking this is what it was, it really wasn't. The memories, the things that you think you are remembering, is really your thoughts of the potential of what it could have been. Those 10 years that Taylor was on and off with Matty, most of those 10 years she wasn't with him. She was just imagining, man, if we could just find the right timing, it could be so great. He could be my perfect equal. He could be everything I'm looking for in a man. And when she had the man that had pretty much everything that she needed, every time things went bad, I imagine that her mind would kind of wander back to the one that got away, thinking, if I was with Matty right now, I wouldn't be so bored. If this was Matty, he probably wouldn't lose his temper. He wouldn't be so impatient with me. Matty had endless patience for me. Because when a relationship doesn't really get the chance to mature, it never gets to get out of the honeymoon period. And during the honeymoon period, everything is perfect. Everything is wonderful. That man has all the patience in the world. He's so beautiful and so funny, and everything feels so spectacular. When JLo and Ben got together, it was very clear that JLo was over with her last marriage to Chris Judd. And that marriage didn't last long either. They never do. They really never do. Except for Mark Anthony, because she had children with him and she really needed for it to last. But that's another video. But she had kind of hit the end of that relationship with Chris Judd, somebody that she, again, met briefly, jumped into marriage, and that didn't work. And she was ready for something new. And Ben was, in many ways, JLo's perfect companion at the time. Jennifer was really at the peak of her career. I truly believe that she peaked in the early 2000s with all the rom-coms, and her music career was really doing well. She was really at the peak, and she was ready to move into her next chapter, which was mother. And there's no better way to go into that chapter than to meet somebody who's also at his peak, Ben Affleck. He had won the Oscar for Good Will Hunting with his best friend. He was doing movies, huge blockbusters. They met. They really thought that this was going to be their next blockbuster, that Geely movie that was a disaster. And Jennifer thought, what better way for me to enter into the new chapter as wife and mother than to put in one or two more big hits with the love of my life. And then I'm going to go off and start having babies, and he can be the big star, and I can be there at his side on the red carpets. And maybe when the kids are older, we can all stand there, be the perfect picture of family bliss with success and money and fame. And it's going to be wonderful. And of course, that didn't pan out. The flame burnt really bright and it extinguished itself just as quickly. And after that, JLo was really floundering. She talked about this in her documentary and in the movie. She was just trying to recreate that spark that she felt with Ben, with some kind of a successful man. And, in many ways, Mark Anthony, I think he was the closest to perfection that she found in a relationship. He was a huge Latino superstar, magnificent singer. I mean, one of the best voices I've ever heard in my life. Really romantic, and he had just done his crossover. His crossover album was a huge success here in the United States. And he also had just ended his relationship, or had he really just ended his relationship with his ex-wife? Or did he make the same mistake that JLo made? Because apparently JLo was, to him, the one that got away. They had a brief romance when they did a song together. And then she went off to be with, I believe it was Diddy at the time. So to Mark Anthony, she was the one that got away. So at the first chance, when his relationship was kind of in the doldrums, he jumped at the chance of being with JLo. JLo was ready for that marital bliss, to have a family, but it just wasn't quite right enough. And like I mentioned when I did my analysis of the JLo movie, which I actually liked, I just disagreed with the message because the messenger was wrong. Watch that video as well. I believe she hinted in that movie, when she was showing all the different failed relationships she had after losing Ben the first time, that there was some kind of an abusive relationship, maybe substance abuse with Mark Anthony. There had been rumors that he had a drinking problem. Maybe there were other things that he had. I don't know any of this. This is all speculation that was out there. So I believe that that was the one reason why she couldn't hold on to that marriage. I think JLo would have held on to Mark Anthony as long as she could because of the children. But when you have toxic dynamics, like maybe abuse, maybe substance abuse, she couldn't hold on any longer. But I truly believe that when she got with A-Rod, that was her perfect companion. He was everything that she found in Mark Anthony, but so much better. The discipline, the athletic discipline that he had, that they both had in common, the focus on health, the wanting to be more than just their perceived talent. He was more than just an athlete. He's a huge businessman. He's on the way to becoming a billionaire with all the businesses that he has. He's a family man. He loves his family. He's with his daughters. They were around the same age as her children. It really was the perfect relationship. Looking from the outside, again, I don't know these people, but based on everything that I believe that JLo was looking for, that was it. And he was the one man out of all the exes that took the time to get to know her really well. It took about 3 years before he popped the question. All the other men in all the other relationships, they popped the question right away. And that's really the demise of all of the dynamics of her exes, is that they never take the time to get past the honeymoon period to really get to know each other and really form a solid foundation. And based on what I saw, A-Rod really was serious about this. He's like, I'm not going to be like the others that just, fall to their knees and give you a ring. No, no, no. You can make all the songs telling me to give you a ring. That's not going to happen until I'm ready, until I know that we are ready for this. And so in all those things, I thought that's it. That's your man, JLo. You found him. Unfortunately, that didn't happen because the one that got away started contacting her. And JLo said, this is it. This is my chance. Only to find out that he wasn't the one. That his promises were just as empty as that huge mansion she bought for them to have this wonderful life together that he exited in less than a year after they moved into that house. He just packed his things and moved into a rental house closer to Jen Garner, closer to his children. And so I've said all of this to make you go and watch all the videos I made on these topics. I really want you to watch those videos. They are really good videos. They are thoroughly researched. They are well presented. Go watch them. They're really good. You're going to like it. If you clicked on this video, I promise you, you're going to like those videos because they're all relate. But I also wanted to let you know, if you are struggling like JLo to let go of something that is in the past, like she's out here trying to make this man jealous, girl, how many times does he have to leave you for you to understand that he doesn't want you? Not like that. He wants you for the fun times, for the excitement of the new thing, and then he's gone. I think he's realizing that the real one that got away was Jen Garner. That was the real one, and he's never going to find anything near to that. He's never going to find another relationship just like that. But it is time for Jennifer to understand that this abstract thing that she is chasing by chasing Ben is not really Ben. It's her own worthiness. She needs to truly do what she said she did in that movie. She needs to take a break. Leave this Brett dude alone. This new co-star, leave this man alone. Of course you're excited because he adores you and he says all the right things. This is the same pattern that has gotten you 4 divorces, JLo. It's not getting any better. It's not about, well, if I find the right man. It's about being the right girl, the right woman who can stand on her own 2 feet, who can find deep down inside of her that virtue, that deserving value, that deserves the love story that you're craving. It's not about the love story. It's about what the story says about you, that you are finally deserving of this love. Well, guess what, girl? You are. You just have to find that within yourself. You're not going to find it in a relationship. It's never going to happen. You are 55 years old. That needs to count for something. I'm 51. I'm trying to be as knowledgeable and as wise as possible so as to not make the mistakes of the past. And I've done a pretty good job, by myself. I want you to do the same, JLo. I want you to find that love within yourself that you claimed, that you found when you were talking about it in the movie. It's in there. Go digging. Stop chasing validation on the outside. It doesn't exist. And Ben is not going to ever give you what you need. Only you can do that. Okay? That is the video for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you would like to see me do more commentary, please subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you join me here. Please watch other videos, like I said, not just the ones that I mentioned. And maybe you will see that maybe there's value in this channel and maybe I should subscribe. Give it a like if you enjoyed it. Please share it with others if you think others would like it. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with everything I said? What do you think about this? And maybe, hopefully, I pray, I will see you in the next one.